on my channel.
Okay, volume of cylinders and prisms. Can you give me an example, real life example, of what a cylinder is? A can is a perfect example of a cylinder. So I don't have a can, but I have a cylinder. You have a top and a bottom, right? And we're going to figure out all the stuff in between. What is the shape of the top and the bottom of this cylinder? Circle. A circle. Okay, so keep that in your mind for a second. So let's draw a cylinder. We're going to do some drawing today. So draw a circle, draw 2 lines down, draw a circle, draw 2 lines down. At the bottom, you're going to draw like a happy face. And then the back part of the circle. Now, some of you can't draw, and that's okay. I'm not going to make you actually draw on your homework and your test, but it's good to have the pictures in your notes. Okay, so we have a cylinder. You told me the top and the bottom, which are known as the bases, are a circle, correct? Yeah. Okay. Now, the volume of cylinders, the nice thing is it's all formula-based. So if you know how to plug the numbers in and use your calculator, this shouldn't be difficult if you know the formulas. So the formula for volume is big B times little h. And here's why the big B is important. This B stands for base area. So the area of the base. And what did you tell me the base was? A circle. And what is the formula for area of a circle? Pi times the radius squared. We just did a whole unit on that, right? So the area of a circle is pi r squared. Agreed? Okay. Volume for a cylinder is big B times h, where base is my base area, which is pi r squared times the height. So for a cylinder, we're going to do pi r squared, which is my B, times the height of the whole cylinder. So if I tell you that the radius is 5 meters and that the height of this cylinder is 11 meters, we should be able to find the volume. Okay. So using this formula, volume equals pi times, what's my radius? 5. And what's the height of the whole cylinder? 11. Okay, great. Everyone have their calculators? Grab it if you don't.
Yeah, I have it.
We're going to do 2 answers. 2. The first answer, I want you to tell me what it is in terms of pi. My second answer, I want you to tell me what my answer is rounded to the nearest tenth. Okay? So in terms of pi and rounded to the nearest tenth. So take a second and plug that into your calculator. All right, so when you find it in terms of pi, what answer did you get? Good. 275 pi meters cubed. Okay, so remember area and circumference is just your units. I'm sorry, perimeter and circumference is just your units. Area is your units squared. Volume is your units cubed. Okay, so 275 pi meters cubed is my answer in terms of pi. Now, if I want to round that to the nearest tenth, we're going to take 275 and multiply it by pi, and what do you get? I have no idea what some of you said, so 863.9 meters cubed. Okay, So because this was an issue on the test you just took, I want you to make a note to yourself. That. And this is in terms of pi. Rounded to the nearest tenth. This is what most of you had to go back and fix on your test because the directions were confusing. So, in terms of pi means pi is in your answer. Rounded to the nearest tenth means you're going to multiply through by pi. Or if you're multiplying by decimals, you're rounding. Okay? That is important to know the difference there. I'm going to give you, what's wrong?
Okay, so on the test,
Uh-huh.
I asked you about like when it says rounded to the
Nearest 10. So
I put it in
pi.
15.
All of them were fine in terms of pi. I allowed it in a couple different answers. But now we know what the difference is. So now when you read that, you will need to either keep it in terms of pi or have it rounded. So just make sure you know both. Okay? All right. I'm going to give you a cylinder, and I would like you to find the volume. Okay, it's good enough. Okay, so here's your cylinder. I would like you to find the volume of that cylinder in terms of pi and rounded to the nearest 10. Okay? Okay. Volume. Again, my base is pi r squared times the height. What is the radius of this cylinder?
It is 8.
It is 8. Half of 16, because 16 is my diameter. And what's the height of this cylinder? 4. So in your calculator, in terms of pi, 8 squared is 64 times 4 is 256 pi feet cubed.
Square.
You should have feet cubed.
That's right.
That's right. 256 pi feet cubed. Then rounded to the nearest tenth, you're going to multiply through by pi, giving you 804.2 feet cubed. It is cubed.
I said 1.
Because volume is always cubed. Volume, your units are always cubed because it's a 3-dimensional figure. Okay? So that's cylinders. Prisms are way more fun. Here we go.
This is a prism.
Okay. Prisms. Can someone give me an example of a prism that we use consistently on a daily basis? Not necessarily in here, but that you know of on a daily basis. A rectangular prism, yes, but like give me a real life example. A tissue box is a great example of a prism. Right? Or my muffin box. Okay. So, great example of a prism. You'll notice that the top and bottom are still flat and that they're the same shape, right? And it has a height. It pops up. I can fill it with stuff. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, so for prisms, be very careful. The top and the bottom are the same shape. That's going to be important. Did you hear what I just said? Okay, top and the bottom are the same shape, and then there is a height to that. So we are going to start with a cube. If you don't know how to draw a cube, look up here. Actually, let's make a note to ourselves first.
Oh, I already did it.
Top and bottom are the same shape. Top and bottom are the same shape. Okay, so we're going to draw a cube. If you know how to draw it, great. If you don't, look up here. So I'm going to start with a square rectangle. Okay, and then in the middle of that, I'm going to draw another one. And then you connect all the corners. Okay, you should see your three-dimensional object. Okay. What is the top and the bottom of this box? What shape?
Rectangle.
Rectangle, potentially a square, right? What is the area of a rectangle or a square? How do you find it? Base times height or length times width, right? You can use either letters. Base times height times or length times width of a rectangle or a square. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the volume for all prisms is big B times little h. What do you notice about cylinders and prisms? Same general formula. The difference, now pay attention, the difference between cylinders and prisms is going to be my base area. Okay, it's still the area of the base. So in this case, it's either a rectangle or a square. Where up here, what was the base? A circle. So we replace the B with my circle formula. Here, we're replacing the B with my area formula for a rectangle or a square. Okay, so I'm going to give you this prism has these dimensions. That's a 3 inches. So if I want the volume, well, actually, before I even ask that question, can you tell me what shape the base of this prism is now? It's a square, right? Because the length and the width are the same. If this was 3 and 5, it would be a rectangle. Okay? So volume equals my base area, which is length times width, and then times the height of the whole thing. And when we talk about height, we're talking about how much it pops up from the base. What is my length? 3. What is my width? What is my height? 3 times 3 times 3 gives me 27 inches cubed. You don't have to worry about rounding because there is no pi in your answer because you're not dealing with circles and they're all whole numbers. Now, the nice thing about volume and all this multiplication is it doesn't matter what order you multiply in. So say you got the length and the width mixed up. That's okay because you're multiplying them together anyway as long as you're using the right numbers. Okay. The next couple are going to be the harder prisms, so it's important that you pay attention. Yeah. So 2 times the length times 2 times the width is just your perimeter for a rectangle. Like you're adding, it's like adding up all the sides.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. All right, so here is where things become a challenge. So we are going to deal with triangular prisms. Before I deal with triangular prisms, let's recap information that we know. What is the area of a triangle? 1/2 the base times the height, or base times height divided by 2. Some of you should probably, actually all of you should probably write this down.
That triangle?
Yep, area of a triangle. 1/2 the base times the height. Now, you wrote down some really important information, at least I told you to write it down, about the base and the height of triangles. Who remembers that really important information?
They always make a 90-degree angle.
The base and the height of triangles always create a 90-degree angle. Do you remember talking about that like 2 units ago? It's in your warm-up on page something.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, so maybe make another note to yourself. The base and the height always create a 90-degree angle. This is for triangles. So for triangles, the base and the height always create a 90-degree angle. There's 2 types of triangles that we're going to see. The first one is a right triangle, right, where the 90-degree angle is created by the triangle. Here is my height, here is my base. That one is the most obvious. We also have triangles like this, where my base is here and my height starts at the top and comes down to my base and creates a 90-degree angle. Does that look familiar? I hope so. Either way, the base and the height always create a 90-degree angle. Okay, so we are going to draw, and you're going to watch me slowly, I'll do it slowly. We're going to draw a right triangle prism. Right triangular prism. Okay, you ready? So we're going to start by drawing a right triangle.
Want us to put the name?
No. We're going to start with a right triangle. Step 1. Okay. Then, from this bottom corner, you're going to extend out a line, not super long, but you're going to extend out a line. We're going to make a 3D shape, a right triangular prism. Still good? Okay, from that line you just extended, we're going to create a parallel line with the hypotenuse of the triangle.
We're going to connect it.
And then you're going to connect it at the top. Yep. It's like a slice of pizza, a slice of cake. Do you see that? Okay, we're almost done. Then, from this piece here, you're going to just do a dotted line up.
Oh, that's not confusing.
So from here, just do a dotted line up. Just do it.
I did it.
No, I stopped. From my right angle, we're going to connect that there. Okay, so I did a dotted line up, and then a dotted line to that corner.
Yeah, I'm lost.
Okay, now last thing. From this corner here to this far corner here, we're going to create a dotted line.
Was that supposed to be the base? Was that the...
I'm just creating another triangle. Do you see the other triangle in there? So I have one here, and then I have the dotted line and the hypotenuse. Do you see it? Okay, so again, you're not going to have to draw this every time. The homework and the quizzes and all of that will have it drawn for you, but it's good to be able to notice it, because right at the top we said the top and the bottom for prisms are the same. So what shape do I see 2 of that are exactly the same? You hopefully see 2 triangles. You see a triangle here and a triangle here. And if they're drawn perfectly, they're exactly the same.
I see now.
Does everybody see that? Okay. Because I'm going to give you information, and sometimes you have too much information, and you have to figure out what values you actually need. And again, it's not drawn to scale, because that's too hard to do. So just go with what we have. Yeah, so 6 8, 8, and 10. Now we're going to walk through this. So we all agree, or I think we all agreed, that our top and our bottom are a triangle. Okay, so I have a triangle in the base, and then it pops up, and there's a triangle at the top. Okay. Because of that, my B is area of a triangle. Okay, so 1/2 base times height, plus I still have to multiply it by the height of the whole prism. So I'm replacing B with area of a triangle, and then I have the height of the whole prism. Are you okay with that? No. Okay.
Instead of putting a B, you just put an arrow.
So instead of B, because B stands for base area, so you have to determine what your base is, what shape it is. So is it a circle, is it a rectangle, is it a triangle? In this case, it's a triangle, so I'm replacing B with area of a triangle. Okay, and then I still have that height. So this right here is that big B. So B, this B, you will always replace with the area of whatever your base is. Okay, so maybe I'll even do replace with area formula for base. Okay, so I replace that B with the area formula for the base. In this case, it's a triangle. Are we all on the same page now? Okay. I need to find the base and the height of this triangle. Now, careful, because we said the base and the height must create a 90-degree angle. What two side lengths create, when I'm looking at the triangle only, create the 90-degree angle? 6 and 8. So right here, here's my triangle. Right? Base, height. They create the 90-degree angle. Do you see that? Okay, so 1/2 of 6 times 8. And then I also need of the height of the whole thing. So if my triangle,
That's an 8.
what? Yeah. Sorry. If my triangle was sitting flat, how much does it pop up?
8 yards.
8 yards. It's this 8 here. So if this is the bottom and this is the top, it pops up 8 yards. These are the hardest to see. We're gonna, you don't see anything? I wish I had a,
That's another 8.
that's another 8. 6 times 8 times 8. Hold on. So in your calculator, 6 times 8 times 8 divided by 2 gives you 192 yards cubed. The hardest part is figuring out what your base, your height, and your height are. Okay? Base and height for the actual triangle shouldn't be as difficult because it's the only two numbers that create the 90-degree angle for the triangle. The height of the triangle you have to think about, but it's how much it pops up, right? If you think about a piece of cake, do you want like a really thin piece of cake or you want like a solid chunk of cake? Or pie or whatever it is that you like. Cheese, I don't care. But you want, people like cheese? Okay, but you want a thicker piece. So that's what you're looking for. Okay, last one. Are you ready to draw another triangle? Oh, too bad, so sad. Here we go. If you can't fit it on your notes, write it on the warm-up side. Don't waste a piece of paper. Okay, here we go. You're going to draw a triangle.
Okay.
That's okay. Okay, so you're going to draw a triangle. From the bottom corners, you're going to do 2 lines going down that are the same length. And then we're going to connect those 2 lines. So right now you have like a rectangle and a triangle sitting on top of it. Okay. Now, from the top corner, draw a short dotted line.
Yeah.
And then from either of the corners at the bottom of your rectangle, connect it to that short dotted line. Do you see like a slice of pizza or a wedge of cheese? Okay, so this one was sitting on a side. This one's actually sitting on the base. So I'm going to give you all the information, and I want you with your group to try to decipher how to plug it into the formula, because I'm giving you extra stuff. Okay, here we go. So, here's all this information. I want you with your group to see if you can come up with how it goes into the formula. So, volume is, because it's a triangular base, 1/2 the base times the height of the whole thing. When you're finding the base and the height of the triangle, you are looking for where it creates a 90-degree angle. Here is the only 90-degree angle I see. So 10 and 6.1 should be your base and your height. And as I went around, most of you had that. Now, the height of the whole prism is how much it pops up. It pops up 3 kilometers. When you plug that into your calculator, you end up with 91.5 kilometers cubed. Okay. Yes, Abigail. Guys, hold on. I can't hear what she's asking.
Okay, so if you do like everything right.
If you do everything right,
But you switch 3 and 6.1, like you switch the order.
you're still going to get the right answer. So that's a good question. Now, if you mistakenly switch the order of these, listen carefully, please. If you mistakenly switch the order of these, you end up being okay because you're multiplying. Where you're going to have a problem is if you use the wrong numbers. So switching the order, you should just be cautious and try not to, but it's not going to you won't get it wrong. But if you use the wrong numbers, obviously it'll be wrong. Okay? Any other questions?
No.
Okay.